Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is your boy Pup. We are back with the 12th season of the PWC, one of my favorite draft leagues that I've been a part of. Basically, the idea is that first round, you pick a Terra captain, it's no preview, and you have to bring this Terra captain to every single game, a low tier Terra, and we ended up picking Hariyama this year. It's going to be a really fun one. The rest of my team is on the screen here. We have a new layout, heavily inspired by a fellow friend Kason, who's in the SPDA with me, so make sure you go check them out, because this is like very, very heavily inspired by them, but it looks pretty clean. If you guys do like it, then I'll do it for all my leagues, so be sure to let me know in the comments below. But the rest of my team is on there, like I said. We ended up drafting Gouging Fire, which is a Pokemon that I've never used before, but I'm really, really excited to do it. We also have Iron Treads, one of the best spinners in the game. Weavile, a very, very fast offensive threat versus their whole team. We have Rotom Wash and Galarian Moltres, do very similar, like, semi-defensive things. We have Decidueye, a good defogger and grass type for the team, can also be a setup sweeper. Diancie can also be a setup sweeper with Trick Room, and is just really good for spikes and stealth rocks. Bronzong, great defensive Pokemon with Levitate, so we're not super weak to ground. And then what else? Basculin is on there as well. You know, throwback to last season using Tera Basculin. But not Tera this time, still pretty solid, being able to click either Final Gambit into a lot of Pokemon on opposing people's teams, or just be able to click like Choice Band to Wave Crash to be able to absolutely delete anything. This week we are facing off against Ashton and the Winnipeg Jet Punches. Their team is also here. We're both at 0-0, obviously it's week 1. Well, they have a very scary squad. First of all, they do have the Tera Regice, which I definitely think is going to be Tera Ground in this game. They have pretty decent coverage to get my whole team, but, you know, being able to hit Treads, being able to hit Gouging Fire, being able to hit Diancie is pretty important for them, so I think, you know, going with Tera Ground is the best option. They also have great coverage with, like, Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, just unresisted. You know, I have basically no way to just straight up wall that Pokemon. Bronzong might be a good option, especially defensive versus them. Also Iron Treads if they don't end up being either ground or fighting or water or fire. But they definitely have to be something to hit the Treads. But, you know, still super scary Terra Captain, paired with a lot of good Pokemon on their team. Tornadus Therian is really scary. Luckily we do have Weavile that's faster and just be able to one-shot it, which is really nice. But they do have defensive options to check my Weavile, such as the Skeledirge. If they run no item, then I can't knock them out with knockoff very easily, and then they can just one-shot me back. They also have Fortress, which could be like Rocky Helmet, really annoying, just super defensive. And then the Dowspun, which has to come to this game because it completely walls Gouging Fire. It means Gouging literally cannot touch anything on their team, because they have Well-Baked Body plus the Fairy typing to be immune to my dual stabs, and Earthquake doesn't do very much if they're invested. They can just wish pass to everything else on their team. Other scary options, they have Electro that's really fast. Don't think it ends up coming to this game because we do have an Iron Treads that basically walls it, but if it does, then it's going to be like a sort of foul play variant to be able to catch my switches. Wo-Chien is a little bit annoying just defensively, but we do have a Decidueye, which matches up decently. You wouldn't think so because of its typing, but just not being able to get leech seeded and Sunspored all over is pretty nice. They have Graph AI, which is annoying with Prankster. You know, it's like toxic, potential parting shot sort of stuff. Also can be offensive with knockoff, sword stance, unburdened sort of set if it wants to be, which is pretty scary for my team, but I'm not too worried with Petron. That's just super physically defensive. Excalibur is a huge threat with either Dragon Dance or like Choice Band. Even Choice Scarf could be a threat in this game, but we do have Petron with a Shucka Berry this week. Spoiler alert for my set, but Petron always is, you know, decently able to take on that thing as long as we don't get it set up for free. And yeah, they have Ursaluna, which is super scary with Guts. They can also be more of like an Assault Vest sort of variant to always eat one hit, maybe even Trailblaze to get that speed boost, because then they're outrunning most of my team. Not all of it, obviously, not like the Weavile and stuff like that. But it's still pretty threatening. Fortress, great spinner, spike setter, and Slowking, just a great defensive pivot as well. Something that's also pretty good into my Gouging Fire this week. So the first Pokemon on my team, I already hinted to it, is going to be a Shucka Berry Pecharunt. We are actually very specially defensive on this set. It means that we can take hits from, you know, basically anything the Regice we take hits from. We also take hits from the Electrode if we don't have our Iron Treads around, which is another Pokemon we're bringing in this game. And it also can eat, a hit or two from Torn, which is really nice. And spreading Toxic throughout their team is really, really good. With Poisonous Puppeteer, it will also confuse them. It also just limits the amount of time that like Torn can switch in. It really punishes like the Dash Bun, because they can't really touch us at all with Body Press plus Play Rough as their dual stabs. It's really nice for the Dirge if we're ever able to get off a Toxic on that thing, just so it can't stall out the rest of my team. But we have Malignant Chain, which also can badly poison them, but it's a 50-50 shot, and sometimes I'm just going to want to click Toxic. We have Recover, and then Hex is good on as well. Obviously, we don't hit the Fortress too hard with the combination of Malignant Chain plus Hex, but we do have other options to take that Pokemon out. It is very scary for me to deal with, though. But we are like very specially defensive. Like I said, we have just a little bit of speed just in case, their Baxcalibur is like very minimum speed-esque. So we're trying to outrun that Pokemon. We also have a little bit of special attack investment, just so we can do a little bit of extra damage, because the Malignant Chains versus their team, if they don't have Fortress around, they don't switch in too well to that. Second Pokemon on my team had to be Weavile. This thing has such a good speed tier, outrunning everything on their side except for the Electrode, which I don't think comes to this game, but if it does, they can't even one-shot us. I don't think Modest Choice Specs will one-shot us with a Thunderbolt. But we're Triple Axle, knock off a Low Kick and Sword Stance. Low Kick should allow us to OHKO the Baxcalibur. It also does a ton to the Regice if they haven't Terra'd. It also does a ton to the Ursaluna if we don't want to miss a Triple Axle. And at +2, we basically one-shot their entire team, besides very physically defensive variants of like Slowking, if they don't have an item, if we've already knocked them off. Fortress obviously won't be knocked out. If they have Dash Bun that's fully physically defensive, they may be able to live. And then potentially, like, depending on what type of Tera they have on the Regice, they might be able to live. But it's really good. You have protective pads, because I do anticipate Rocky Helmet on one of the 3 of Dash Bun, Fortress, and Slowking if they end up bringing that. And then just a little bit of HP, because we have a speed 2 speed creep the Torn. The third Pokemon on my team is my Rapid Spinner, Iron Treads this week. We're rocking an Assault Vest set, which means we can always switch into Torn. Even if they want to click Heat Wave on us, that's totally fine. We can also easily switch into the Electrode if they're not going to be clicking Foul Play, which they probably bring if they're going to bring that Pokemon versus me, but it's pretty solid. We also switch in decently well to the Regice, depending on what kind of Tera they are. Like Ground is very obvious, which makes a lot of sense, but we do a lot of damage back to it with like a Heavy Slam or an Earthquake as my dual stabs. We also have Volt Switch, which is nice to just get momentum versus their team, where their only ground type is the Ursaluna, potentially that Tera on the Regice as well. And then if they want to set up with Spikes or, any sort of hazards, Stealth Rocks, anything like that, we can Rapid Spin away, because my team, I'm not running any boots. I'm not the biggest boots enjoyer, and I don't have boots on my Weavile. We really need that thing to, stay around, so we got to run Rapid Spin on this Pokemon. Next up on the team is Rotom Wash. This Pokemon is going to be insane in this matchup, as they basically have 0 resist to the combination of the Dual Stab, Volt Switch plus Hydro Pump. Obviously, they do have Wo-Chien that can switch in decently well to both of that, but we have Trick if we want to cripple that Pokemon. And then we have Dark Pulse as well as other good coverage if we want to catch a 50-50 between Ursaluna and Slowking coming in. We also, we don't need that much speed investment to outrun the bulk of their team. With 44 speed investment, we're basically outrunning everything besides Baxcalibur and up, which is over half their team. It's the bulky part of their team that I expect to come and that we're trying to wall break with this Pokemon. If they are some sort of like, Tera Dragon or like Tera Grass or something on Regice, which is not a type that I expect, then they might be able to wall us decently well, since that Pokemon has very, very big special defense naturally. But we do, a ton of damage to the rest of their team once we get that thing gone, or if we get this Pokemon in a good position, they just have 0 switch-ins to it. Next up is another Heat set. We have Lagging Tail Bronzong on the team, which is pretty sick. Body Press, Gyro Ball, Psychic Noise, and Trick. Really fun set here. Basically, the idea is that we always can trick the Baxcalibur, so no matter how many Dragon Dances or Scale Shots they get off, we're always going to be faster with every single Pokemon on our team. It also doesn't affect the Gyro Ball damage, because that just goes off the speed stat, so we still do a ton of damage with that move. Psychic Noise is a nice to make sure that the Slowking can't just chilly reception out all the time and get that free recovery, because we should outspeed that Pokemon naturally. Especially, you know, they should go with a minus speed nature, but if they go minus attack nature, then, you know, maybe they'll be able to outrun us with that. Body Press is also solid versus their team. They don't have great switch-ins to it. Does a good amount of damage to like the Ursaluna, to the Regice, to the Wo-Chien, potentially to the Baxcalibur as well. So just a really strong option here. Big physical defense on this Pokemon. Just, you know, being able to take on that Baxcalibur is really important for my team. It also handles Dash Bun pretty well that I didn't have the best answers into. Obviously the Ursaluna we deal with decently well, but they should run Fire Punch on the set to be able to catch my Bronzong. And last but not least, we have to bring our Tera Captain Hariyama here. This set is Tera Fighting, just so we can get super hard hits with Drain Punch. It's really nice as soon as the Skeledirge goes down, and the Dash one probably. But they aren't going to know what it is. But I just want that huge damage. I want to be able to one-shot stuff like the Ursaluna, even though we're super effective. Should be one-shotting it, but, you know, it makes it so that their resists don't really resist Drain Punch that well. I also have Headlong Rush, which is a 2-hit KO on the Skeledirge if we ever call that Pokemon coming in, even if they're physically defensive, I'm pretty sure. Knockoff is also really nice versus like the Slowking, Skeledirge, obviously. Getting rid of Boots, I mean, I thought could be nice during prep, but I didn't actually end up bringing rocks because I have AV Iron Treads and a Lacking Tail Bronzong, so we didn't end up doing that. But it could be nice to knock off anything that they might want to have like leftovers or something like that. And then Rock Slide, which hits the Torn on switch-in, definitely 2-hit KOs that Pokemon, and we should always live one Bleak Wind Storm pretty easily. If we haven't thrown off our Tera yet, then they could be scared to, you know, go for the Bleak Wind. So we have options with this Pokemon. Just looks really strong versus them. They don't have any good ways to knock me out in one shot. Even if they're like +1 Baxcalibur, I think we should be able to live anything besides Glaive Rush. So if they're like a potential Scale Shot set, I think we should be able to live that and just destroy them with a Drain Punch. We look really good in this game, being able to, you know, take hits. You know, obviously, I just talked about Baxcalibur, but we also take hit from an Ursaluna and be able to one-shot them back with Drain Punch, which looks really good in this game. But hopefully this team is going to be able to do it. Ashton's a very good battler. Pretty sure I've played them a couple times in the past in this league, and they've always been a great battler. But we have a really fun team here. Really excited to see how it works together. If you guys are excited for the season, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know if you guys like this new team builder format, and I'll keep doing it on all the other videos. That's going to be about it. Let's get to the battle. Yo, what's going on, everyone? We're back with another season of the PWC, facing off against Ashton in week 1. They have a Tera Captain of Regice. We have our Hariyama here. They brought a couple interesting Pokemon to this game. A little bit interesting. No Dirge is really, really nice for my fighting spam. Obviously, they do have the Slowking that should be able to eat up some hits, but still, it looks really strong. They do also have the Torn that we have to worry about. I think Rotom with Choice Specs looks really, really nasty in this game. And then Bronzong Lagging Tail is just a really nice way to be able to trick basically everything on their team, make it go last. Yeah, I really like this. What kind of Tera types would they want on their Regice? I'm really assuming Tera Fight, or not Tera Fight, that's what we are. I'm really assuming Tera Ground, because I think that looks very, very strong versus me. But who knows? I think either Hariyama, I don't know, maybe Rotom is just a better lead. Throws off like a Hydro Pump or something on turn 1. Really strong versus their teams into everything except for the Regice, basically. I think we're going to go for that. Only really gets punished if they go Electro to start off, and even then I think I go Treads hard on it. But they probably are packing Foul Play. So, interesting conundrum if they lead with that, but good luck, have fun to our opponents. Yeah, interesting, they brought the top 5 plus Electrode. I also really thought Dash Bun was going to be here. I thought Dash Button was like a lock because we have Gouging Fire on the bench. But I'm happy not to see it for sure. It makes Weavile look incredibly strong in this game. We just need some chip on that Slowking. Okay, they are going to lead with this Pokemon. That's great for me. And they have Ursaluna that could switch in on a Volt Switch if they wanted. But I'm not sure if they would really want to. I also I could go for like a simple Dark Pulse here. Could be nice. Slowking. I mean, Volt Switch just does so much to this Pokemon. A Dark Pulse would even do like 50% anyways, though. I think we're going to go for Dark Pulse just as a mid-ground option. If they want to switch out, this should basically hit everything decently. They don't have a great swap to this. They actually don't have any swap into this as of right now. And if they stay in, it's not the end of the world. Okay, they're going to Colbur. So breaking the Colbur is nice. We do a nice 25% through Colbur. And they're just going to chili out. Totally fine. So Colbur is broken. And that did about what we'd expect from like Max Fizdef. Volt Switch would have been really, really good there. But not the end of the world. They can probably see that we're just modest specs. But even if they go like Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur, I don't know if they really want to take it. And they can't knock me out in one shot anyways. Yeah, Baxcalibur never knocks me out unless they're Banded Glaive Rush. Even then, it's probably pretty close. And Banded Adamant Glaive Rush definitely takes me out. But no like Scale Shot or anything should. They're going to go into the Bergmeister. Oh, this is the Regice. That's interesting. I mean, we could go Treads here. I'm assuming like Tera Fight might want to come out here. I could go Bronzong, or Terra Ground is what I mean. I can go Bronzong, trick it a Lagging Tail, or just be able to like, I don't know, trick Lagging Tail is pretty solid. They might want to be some sort of setup variant. I know they have like Curse potentially, which would be annoying. We're just gonna go hard Bronzong here. If they are on the off chance like Terra Dark or Terra Fire, and go for a Terra Blast here, it's a really good play by them. So they're gonna Gravity. Okay, so they are definitely Terra Ground. Terra Ground Gravity. That's actually a crazy set. Destroys my team. I think we're gonna double out to Hariyama here. Because this has got to be Terra Ground coming out here for sure, right? I feel like they would have Terra'd before my switch, right? Man, they're getting me, aren't they? I mean, Hariyama should be able to eat. Oh, no. Okay, they do Terra. So this should be Terra Ground for sure, I think. Yep, Terra Ground. Just a good typing into me, for sure. They are just going to Terra Blast. We'll see how much damage it does. Should do about 100 if they're, like, timid. That does just over 100. What'd that do? 114. That's guaranteed modest. Yeah, that's actually a pretty high roll for modest, even. I can Drain Punch. I can also knock off if I want to catch the Slowking, but, I mean, there's no reason that I need to do that here. I kind of just want to click Terra Fighting and Drain Punch versus them. I think I will. Terra Fight Drain Punch is easily a 2-hit KO on this Pokemon, and they don't hit me too well. They can T-Wave me, but I'm Guts. So at that point, I'd be destroying them. Yeah, if I'm paralyzed and they're not HP invested, they just get deleted. I wonder if this thing is fast, though. We'll see here if they go before me. If they swap out, then we won't. And they can easily go to the Slowking. We're going to get some health back, though. Yeah, okay. So this Pokemon should take even like 20%, though, which is solid. Knockoff to no item on this Pokemon. Let's see how much is that doing. Like a good 30. I can just keep him low. And we're going to get HP back anyways. How much would Psyshock do? Psyshock would do a good chunk. Alright, let's see. That did about 20%. So yeah, looks like fully physically defensive. Knockoff is a solid play. I could see them chilly receptioning out here. But they don't even go out to anything easily. I think we're going to knock off. Try to keep this thing as low as possible. I know they don't have an item right now, but I really want to keep this Pokemon low. So Weavile has a chance to be able to knock it out. How low do I need it to be for Weavile to knock it out? It needs to be about 50%, maybe just under, which is what it's at right now. And they're going to Psychic, so this is not going to do too much. It does a good chunk. Oh, that's a big crit. And the drop. Yeah, that's unfortunate for sure. Crit plus drop. I mean, I could go hard out to like Weavile or something like that. Treads is even fine here. Oh man, this is really tough. Because Psychic and -1. -1 Spadef, I mean, it's just going to knock me out no matter what. We would have been able to eat 2, definitely with the Drain Punch here. Part of me kind of wants a Rock Slide, hope for a flinch. But Knockoff is just the better play. Get this thing really, really low. If they Chilly Reception out, that's good. Yeah, because this Pokemon's still going to be low enough for Weavile to be able to take it out in one shot with Knockoff. And if we get to +2 on anything on their team, we might just be able to sweep. Could be Scarf on the Torn, though, which is what we have to worry about. I'm assuming it's Torn that wants to come out at this point. No, it's going to be the backs. I mean, we're just going to stay in. No more gravity. I doubt we ever live a hit from this Pokemon, but we just have to go for it. I don't want to let them DD. If they're Dragon Dance, I mean, like, basically anything that they want to click knocks me out. So they're going to Glaive Rush. Alright, that means that they are taking an extra bunch of damage next turn, right? Isn't that how that works? I mean, Treads can come in and click Heavy Slam versus them, which is really strong versus the whole team besides the stupid Slowking. Petrun is really solid as well, but we don't outrun them. I mean, Weavile, no. I mean, Weavile low kick. Probably at this point would knock it out. Alright, that's how Glaive Rush works. Let me just take my time with this. Until the next time the user acts, any attack do double damage. So we should be destroying it with a low kick. I'm gonna go Weavile. Yeah, and low kick, they don't have a good switch into. Not at all. We're just gonna go for it. Oh, it's in the snow. It's in the snow, which means I shouldn't ever actually die in one hit to this Pokemon unless they're banded. But low kick, oh, I guess even doing double in the snow should most of the time knock it out. 86%. 86% of the time. And that's to no investment on this Pokemon. We'll see if they end up staying in, though. It'd be really nice to get this Pokemon out of the way. And Weavile is very, very strong versus them. This, I guess it could have been a misplay to do this. They might expect to be able to live it, though. And with my, I have a little bit of HP investment in the snow. Makes it so I should be able to live. As they do switch. Okay. What's it going to be? Bergmeister. Okay. That's fine. We know they're not Choice Scarfed or anything. So they take a quarter. Ice Body. Completely forgot about that ability. Ice Body plus Leftovers. They took 25 to low kick. Let me just do some little calcs here. Okay, they're max HP, max special attack modest. Triple Axle still should knock them out though. If I was really ballsy, I would click Sword Stance on this turn. But they don't have an answer to Weavile here. Every single Pokemon on their team actually just straight up dies to this. I mean, the Slowking can come in, but I just click Knockoff. Yeah, Axel. Bang, we hit all three. Down goes their Tera Cap. Mine's down too, so it is what it is there. If they bring in the Torn, I'm going to assume it's Choice Scarfed, and it will knock me out. If they bring in Electrode, then I think we're fine. Electrode, I want to check, like... Okay, Modest should be allowing me, right? Yeah. Modest specs T-Bolt. Modest specs T-Bolt actually does not ever knock me out. They might want to Volt Switch out, though. Now we can go Treads. They for sure have Foul Play on this Pokemon, though, right? Like, Foul Play just has to come here. And it'll do a good, like, quarter to a third to Treads. But we get a pretty nice Earthquake the next turn. Alright, we go Treads. Let's see what they're going to go for. Hopefully Electric move. Okay, they are going to make a good play in Foul Play. It's going to do basically exactly what I expected it to do. Now, I really think that they're going to swap out. Maybe into the Slowking. I really want to click Volt Switch this turn. So I'm going to do it. We get a slow Volt off anyways. Man, if I click Sword Stance that turn, I might have just won. But alas, it is what it is. And this thing might have a decent amount of, like, HP investment. Just be an annoying Pokemon. Just Volt Switch, Foul Play, Pivot. But Treads is still good. It's still great into the Torn. Because I'm assuming that thing is going to be special. That is going to be the Torn, right? No, wow. Okay, they make a great play on my Volt Switch. That's crazy. Ursaluna did not get burned. I mean, it makes so much sense for them to just go for a ground move here. And do I need this Pokemon in this game? I don't think so. I think the damage on this Pokemon is actually just better. It's good for me to go for, especially if they want to, like, Trailblaze or something like that. If they Trailblaze, I kind of have to get damage. Yeah, we do a decent chunk there. And yeah, they Trailblaze. Okay. So Ursaluna's +1. They're bulletproof, I'm assuming. So no Guts. Headlong Rush definitely knocks me out. At +1, they don't outspeed me, though. So I can get another EQ off. Or even spin. I don't think it's worth spinning. I think we just EQ. Yeah, we just get a ton of damage off there. And they're going to Headlong. So we know they're slower than Treads. They're going to knock it out, but I can easily go out to Weavile and Revenge. Weavile just gets a free knockout here. And we low kick. One hit doesn't knock them out, so yeah, we need a low kick, I think. Knockoff might be able to knock them out as well. But yeah, we'll just low kick. We'll play it safe. If they go out to Slowking, then I guess I should have knocked, but they should just, like, seriously be in range of knockoff. We're kind of just trading one for one over and over, but Weavile is so incredibly good into them. What do they go here? Okay, they do go Slowking. Could have knocked that thing out. And they're going to get some Regenerator back. Man, I guess I should have hit them. Part of me wants to Swords Dance here. If I Swords Dance, I probably just win on their swap. Let's go for it. Yep. Yep. We're going to call him out. We called him out. Okay, we are +2 Weavile now. I expected that they had to switch out there. I mean, it just made sense. We're going to knock. Knock should always pick up a kill, basically on any Pokemon. And the only thing I'm worried about is Scarf Torn at this point. Regular Torn, I mean, if they're not Scarfed, we obviously outrun them. If they're like max attack Brick Break, they can knock me out. If they're max attack Timid, Heat Wave does not knock me out. Even if they're Modest, it doesn't. If they're... Oh no, they're just going to go out to Electrode here. Yeah, we live any one hit from this thing. Foul Play should not be able to knock me out ever. And we just knock it. We're pads, so we can't get staticked. They're going to T-Bolt. Yep, we live. Knock should take it out. Easy. Not Focus Sashed. Yeah, they were choice specs. Okay, so they were specs. Kind of like I expected, but we do always live. Potentially, if they get another regenerator off with soaking, they might be able to live one hit, since they don't have an item. But at this point, I think it's worth just I think I click knock off into the Torn if it comes out. Because one hit Axle doesn't knock them out ever. And knock, if they're just max HP, no defense, always knocks them out. Max HP, I guess it's a 94% chance to knock it out. We don't get that unlucky. And even if we do, I think Rotom just clears at this point. Clicking choice specs like Volt Switch versus their team is just so strong. Okay, they're going to go out to this Pokemon. Try to get that regen back up. We'll just click knock. We should be able to knock it out. It might be a roll. I honestly didn't even calc it. With no item, we're +2. We should do 85 min to max Fizz Def. So yeah, it definitely gets knocked out at this point. So they got to swap. Yes, they do. Maybe Torn comes out? Yep, it is going to be the Torn sack. Torn just straight up dies. Perfect. Slowking at 100% still can get knocked out by knockoff. So they were AV Torn. Yep, they go back out to this Pokemon. Is it at 100? I think it is. Maybe just at like 1 HP off. They have the backs in the background. I think I beat it with Petrarunt. Even with a Bronzong, I should be okay. We just knock off here. It's a roll in their favor. Yeah, they live. We get like a minimum, and they're going to Flamethrower me. We're still in a great spot here, though. We're in a great spot. They get a big crit. Doesn't matter. I should be able to go out into my my Petrarunt and be able to take a KO here. Or Rotom just specs a Volt Switch. Is actually just a little bit better, I think. If they want to swap, it's okay. We're going to get a big chunk of damage off if they do swap. And what is the play? Okay, so they're going to stay in. Do we want to trick them a Lagging Tail? Or... It's a little bit of a weird 50-50 here what we want to do. I think Bronzong's always the better option, because we just click Gyro Ball versus them. Versus Baxcalibur. I also don't think they can touch me. Garabald is 72 to 73 versus this Pokemon. We're going to Gyro Ball. I don't think it's worth tricking. It would protect us from Dragon Dance a little bit, but I think we're still fine. Is there Crunch? Crunch does not 2-hit KO. Yeah, and Gyro Ball brings it super low. Okay, I'm going to trick this turn just in case we do end up living. Yep, we do. I want to show off the tech. Give him that lagging tail. If they knock me out with an Ice Shard here, that's fine. I don't even know if Ice Shard knocks me out. They're Habanberry. Ice Shard is 31 max. We should be able to live. And Gyro Ball them. Yep, we're going to get the Gyro Ball off. That's going to be a good game. Really, really scary team for them for sure. But Weavile was just so strong in the matchup. Really glad that they didn't bring the Dash Bun, because that could have been an issue, but I was prepared for Rocky Helmet with protected pads. Pick it up at 3-0 W to start off our season. Very, very good for us. Especially, I mean, I had a lot of really rough battles yesterday. Yesterday was a horrible day for me, man. My computer stopped working. I lost in a couple big ones. But you guys will see that. They'll be up by the time this goes up, probably. But that's going to be about it for me. If you guys do enjoy Pokemon Draft League content and the PWC being back, please be sure to smash that like button. Hit the subscribe. I'm trying to hit 500 subs this year. Very start, we got 150 to go. Let's get there. But that's going to be about it for me. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.